Do I love you? I do. I love you. I love you, man. Let's get to work. I made a video called hair transplant versus laser hair removal for my back hair. And we need to unpack this because my IQ raised. I know it was about as high as it could get already, but it got even higher after I read these comments. So thank you for watching that video. Hair transplant versus laser hair removal for my back hair. That's a real video. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely watch it. A lot of people interacted with it. Our great friend Maxwell Smart had this to say, quote, "I think you're right. Your wife may be right. In the winter, you turn up the heat, the air becomes drier. Use a humidifier to increase the humidity and moisture. That should give you more relief." Because I was talking about how, because I am Chewbacca, I just manscape. It's funny, it's getting time already. But because of that, you know, with my back included, I literally get my clippers and I get in the mirror and this is how I do it. You know, I have a special way of like contorting myself. That's how I do it. And I was noticing, it's bothering me so bad. It's itching so bad. But now that I talked to my wife, and then Max is right, it's because my skin was dry. Because this happens in the winter more than anything. It doesn't happen when I'm running and I'm mountain biking and I'm skateboarding outside in Tennessee when it's sweaty and hot and humid. I don't think about it. I still manscape. I don't think about it. It's because it's hot from the heat inside, but cold outside. It's cold outside. Here's outside. Okay, it's cold out there, right? So my skin was dry. That was the issue. Now I'm using, lotion on my back, and the problem is solved. So thanks, that was easy. But there's more comments that we need to take a look at on this video. So let's check it out. All right. This is where things kind of took a left turn, and I think we need to follow that turn. All right. So DJ Laser Blue, was he the one? Yeah, he brought it up. He says this, quote, "I have a new theory for you to work on, brother. Are you more likely to keep your hair if you have low or high testosterone? Interesting to know your views." Okay, and then look at the comments after that, because I like where this is going. This is interesting to me. Stormy Ascent commented on that and said, quote, "Just because Nick is a vegan and a stay-at-home dad, it doesn't mean he has low testosterone. Those studies have found that good fathers have smaller testicles. I can assure you that's not the case." I'm not trying to be funny. It's just I have the opposite of that problem, okay? They're not too small. It's a burden. You know how some women have to have like breast reductions? Like I've known some women who actually had to have that because it was hurting their back. If they had reduction for that for men, I would be a candidate. So I assure you, that's not the case. It's a burden. It's a burden I must bear. I would be an awful dad, he goes on to say. Before pregnancy, I would make a deal with my woman that she would have to do the bulk of the TLC, while I would eventually teach the child life lessons like how to beat your bullies, etc. Okay, so that's what Stormy says. So you can see this change in tone here. Now we're talking about this thing about possibly having lower testosterone, and could that be affecting me? All right, so then DJ Laser Blue's back and he says this, quote, "I've been looking into it, Nick. It is very interesting and confusing and lots of conflicting evidence. Looking forward to seeing your take. I feel a bromance coming on between us, as if I'd give you a man hug. All the best, Nick." You know what I'm gonna do? Like, this is me like man hugging you right now. There we go. See that little shake of the camera? That was us like, and definitely, hey, by the way, speaking of bromance, my show, when it airs, if you're able to watch it on the Lifetime Network, February 20th, this time next year, it's about me meeting the guy that I look like on that package of soup. If you like bromance, hashtag just saying. All right, let's sort this out. Let's unpack this. I'm led to believe that there is a connection between testosterone and DHT and male pattern baldness. As far as testosterone goes, another very strange thing we've talked about on this channel is why is it that typically men that are homeless have these full heads of hair, thick heads of hair, low foreheads? Yeah, full hairlines. Why is it? And one theory is, oh, well, they have lower testosterone, they're not as motivated, you know. Maybe that's a theory. And therefore, but men that go balder, they've got more testosterone because they're out there working, you know. So I've heard those theories. We can kind of entertain those theories. But I want to just say this. This is me throwing my 2 cents in on this conversation. And I understand that we're never going to get a solution on this. Like, there's going to be people who leave comments with links proving that testosterone is the reason men go bald. So that according to that theory, then men who go bald sooner have more testosterone than the rest, which would imply that I'm somewhere in the middle when it comes to testosterone. Here's what I'll point out. Yes, I'm a vegan. And that means, in theory, I'm not consuming testosterone of other species to the rate that other men are. In theory, right? But what's funny is, and speaking of the testicles, which again, I assure you, it's a burden. It's an issue. I deal with it. But with that being said, I mean, you know, I have a daughter that's almost 2, and I've been a vegan for almost 5 years. And it's just funny because it's like, I think people who aren't vegans, like maybe a man's thinking, you know, I might become a vegan, but then I wouldn't be able to have kids, right? Because then you wouldn't have as much testosterone. I assure you, I have no less testosterone since cutting out animal products. In fact, I would argue that I have more. Again, it's a burden. It is a burden I must bear to have all the testosterone that I have. You know, and I think part of why I'm so obsessed with like managing emotions, and if you see my other channel, Family Friendly Daddy Blog, I talk about it more, about how I made that conscious decision to not allow other people to affect my emotions. I just think I'm very well in tune with my emotions. There's something very Buddhist about that with me. I don't lose my cool with other people. I don't worry about other people bothering me. That's their problem. OPP, other people's problems. And I think I can be full of testosterone, not eat meat, eggs, or dairy. And I just feel that I've got too much testosterone, if anything. And just like I have to manage my emotions, I have to manage my testosterone. So what have we learned from this video? In theory, not much. But what we have learned is I don't suffer from small testicles. And that's not trying to, like in a Donald Trump sort of way, well, I've got the biggest testicles you've ever seen. Like, he always turns everything the opposite. Like, if you say that Donald Trump doesn't respect women, I respect women more than anybody. If you say that he's a racist, I'm the least racist person you know. I'm not trying to do the Donald Trump thing. I'm just telling you, I don't have small testicles. I have a lot of testosterone, but yet I still have this much hair. And I'm a vegan. And I have produced a child in the middle of being a vegan, of all that. So I'm going to let you unpack all of that and let you determine whether you think testosterone is that important. I understand it plays a role, but then we're getting into the whole loosey-goosey thing about NoFap and why people say that NoFap is effective because you're not releasing the chemicals for testosterone, which therefore makes you more sensitive to DHT. And I'm just not one of those people that's like endorsing NoFap. I'm like, I can hear the theories and think, I could see that. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, I'm not one of those NoFap endorsing kind of people. I have an open mind to see how, in theory, it could work. But I don't know. So anyway, this is my life. This is what I'm living. This is how I perceive things. I've given you some things to sort out. What do you think? I believe I've got a lot of testosterone. And I mean, again, it's time for me to manscape. But this is only like the first coat. Like, give me another month. But that's the thing. I keep it all contained. I mean, it was funny, by the way, last week, my daughter had 106-degree temperature. She had the flu. And so they have to put that little like sticker on her wrist when you leave. So when you come back, it's got her name on it. And as she put it on my wrist, she was like, sorry, that's going to hurt when that comes off, isn't it? I was like, yeah, I'm Chewbacca. I'm Chewbacca.